I want to change lives. I want to show people how to progress in their money. I want to show people how to progress in their mindset. I want to show people how to progress in their brand, so that way they can take care of their family, take care of their finances, and experience freedom.
I would like to welcome to the show Andy Audate, who is an entrepreneur, founder of Progression Conference, and the author of the book, No More Average. Andy, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Man, brother, man, I'm amazing, man. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Amazingly, that's double the amazing. That's like
Right.
2 times the amazingness. So
Right,
you wrote a
100%.
book. so you wrote a book called No More Average. First of all, what's wrong with being average? I mean, C's get degrees, right?
C is getting degrees?
C's get degrees, don't they?
C's get
What's wrong
degrees,
with average?
but I'm not even talking about the school average, man. I'm talking about your life environment. What's wrong with being average, man? It's a failing formula. It's a formula for failure in life.
So tell me about the book. What's sort of the message and why'd you write it?
So I wrote it because I came from an impoverished area and I realized that the people that was around me was holding me back. So average is holding yourself back. There's actually 3 levels of just living in life, or levels of acceleration in life. The bottom level, the worst level, is subpar. That's the 3%. That's your homeless person. That's your person that's experiencing financial challenges. Average is going to be in the middle at 95%, and the top is preeminent at 2%. So average is literally saying, I'm part of the large group of people. I'm living the same. I got the same income. I got the same mindset. I got the same goals. I have the same everything. And it's not living your true version of yourself. So no more of being what other people want you to be, but being yourself.
Got it. So how do people are you kind of advocating that people would level up, go through those levels in some way? Or what are a couple of strategies that you're sort of helping people understand?
So I'm teaching people how to understand how to spot when they're being pushed by other people to go after those people's dreams. So those are called outside influencers. So it's when there's someone who says, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, but their mom is saying, hey, why don't you go to school and go to college and things of that nature. So you're saying, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, but your mom's saying go to college. Hey, I want to run my own business, but your husband or your wife is saying, hey, why don't you keep a job? So it's about being true to yourself.
Got it. Now, on your social media posts, you encourage people to have a vision. So are you advocating for like the legalization of psychedelics? And why?
What?
Am
I advocating for the legality of psychedelics?
Yeah, is that people do mushrooms, or does that mean something else?
That's something else, man. That's something else, dog.
What do you mean by people should have a vision for their life?
A vision for their life is imagination for the future, but having wisdom to be able to make the right path to get there. So in their personal life, as far as their economic, finance, relationship, and health.
Okay, so there's no, like, we don't want to do drugs as a shortcut.
Nah, we ain't trying to do no drugs as a shortcut, man.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so what does your vision look like? To give us an example of your life.
All right. So I'll give you an example of a past vision that has already experienced. And I'll give you an example of a future vision. A past vision, I was running down on Figueroa Street, which is the busiest street in downtown Los Angeles. And I'm running on the sidewalk because I'm trying to lose weight. I live in downtown LA. And then as I'm running, this was 4 years ago, as I'm running, I see this idea or this vision of myself literally speaking on stages and people's lives being transformed right in front of me and them progressing. So then I said, hey, I'm going to become a speaker. And that's when I decided to become a speaker. And now I host the national conference, the Progression Conference, where I travel around the country transforming people's lives on stage. So I started with an idea in my mind, and then it shortly became an actual experience where I'm doing that full time. And then a vision for the future, for my current stage, would be doing what that vision of hosting that Progression Conference internationally and bringing that event to other places like the UK, Africa, and such.
Got it. So I want to get into that conference, but so getting to the vision that you're at right now, did somebody teach you how to do what you're doing? What were some of the things that you had to do or change in order to go from where you were to right now?
So no one really taught me how, because people taught me different portions of it. And so this is why it's so important to get a mentor. I would probably do so much more if I had a mentor right away who really broke down everything for me right away. So this is why it's very important to get a mentor, because of that. When you get a mentor, they're gonna kickstart. So for example, when I ran cell phone stores and owned cell phone stores at a young age. At 19, someone who believed in me suggested I open up a business. I opened up that business, and then within my first 6 months, I made my first 100 grand. Within a year later, I made my first million. So I'm now 20 years old that's generated $1 million. And I say the reason for that was because of the people that I surrounded myself with, and definitely came from mentorship. The mentor that I was learning from had already done that multiple times. So it was easy for me to go and accelerate my business growth. So no one has ever taught me that in this business. However, by getting around the right group of people that thought bigger, it allowed me to also think bigger and play bigger.
So you said you made $100,000 selling cell phones?
Selling cell phones.
And then you made your first million doing what?
Selling cell phones.
Selling cell phones. Holy cow. I didn't know you could do that.
I partnered up with T-Mobile, and I had 4 cell phone stores. I had 15 employees working for me day in, day out in the malls, in the busiest malls on the East Coast.
That's incredible.
So we're selling hundreds of iPhones, Samsungs, and all these other brands, the Blue Phone, all these other brands that were kind of generic. We ended up being the biggest dealer for those in the Northeast region.
That's incredible, man. That's insane growth. Was that just your sheer willpower and just making it happen, or how do you go from 100,000?
Well, I remember the first time that I did the math. I remember I was at one of the locations, the kiosk in the mall, and I was looking at the numbers because I was just head down focused for 6 months straight. And then at one point I looked up and actually looked at the numbers. So it's kind of like, if you just head down focused for 5 years and then you Google yourself afterwards. So I just wanted to see how I did. It was December 31st, and I wanted to see. I remember the day to a T. It was my birthday, and I said, I wonder how much. I've only looked at my business from a week by week standpoint. Never looked at it from a holistic standpoint. So I look at it from a holistic standpoint where I look at the whole thing, and I say, wow, it's $106,000 and some change that came in. This is crazy. And I remember the chair fell behind me because I was such in shock. 100 grand. And then I said, I want to 10x that. If that can do 100 grand coming from where I come from, which is a hood impoverished area, and me being who I am, which was, I was an ex-drug dealer, overweight, college dropout, black guy from the hood. If I can do that and then make 100 grand, then I can do so much. So I set out to make $1 million, and I ended up hitting the target afterwards.
That's incredible. So tell me about the Progression Conference. So who attends that, and what do they get out of it?
So entrepreneurs attend this to scale, to start, grow, and scale their business. So people who are in a place right now where they want to start their business, they learn the key determining factors and strategies to be able to start their business right away and generate income as soon as possible, as well as people who want to grow their business. So that's going to be the solopreneur who wants to expand and reach more people through their marketing. And then scale their business is going to be the people who are currently in a place where they may be generating income, have a couple employees, who really want to expand to the masses, and the systems and strategies that are taught at this event to be able to scale their business wide.
Got it. So now if I am a motivational speaker and I want to come to the Progression Conference. Speaker, yeah. I give motivational speeches.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
And so what would I learn if I wanted to start my business or scale my business? Is there anything you could share, sort of tease that out?
Yeah, one of the things that you would probably learn is to systematize your business. So one of the things that we've determined that works is when you record everything and you're able to see the common denominators between, like, say, for example, all your transactions. Every transaction has something that's common. And it could be that they got this certain email, they got to know who you are before, then they ended up liking you through your content. then now what we recognize is that this common denominator, you want to systematize it. So, like, for example, in my business, something that's common is that right before a sales call, the people who actually purchased were people who knew who Andy Audate was through my social media. So now it's a requirement for my team members to send them the content and have them view it. That way they get to know me before. So that's why I'm not spending, an hour telling someone about me. They've already learned about me through the content that I've created. So I knew that worked. So I systematized it, that every phone call, now everyone has to go through some content, learn about me, and then get on a call with me. Another thing, it could be just learning the processes that retain the customer in a business. So you'll see that there are people who dropped and there are people who stayed. Out of the people who stayed, what was common in between them? Hey, there was constant contact between the company to the client. Well, how can we systematize that and make sure that every single person who purchases a product gets constant contact? So that's what you'll learn about scaling and systematizing, and then just duplicating those roles so more people can do that in the future.
Got it. And so people would walk away with some sort of, would they actually go through that process during the conference and actually walk away with something to then activate their business?
They'll learn the step-by-step systems for them to actually go out and do that themselves. To be able to start their business, they learn the step-by-step process. To be able to grow and scale, they learn the step-by-step process on systematizing the business.
Got it. And are there different types of business? Is it all types of businesses, or do you work with certain types of businesses?
Any business that has a product or a service for sale to the marketplace.
Got it. That's a lot of things.
So that's a lot. So I'm not talking about the businesses that's a lot. There's some businesses that don't sell a product or a service. They just kind of operate on their own. They may have seed money from another source, and they're not selling a product. They're gathering data. That's not the businesses that we serve. We're serving the businesses that have a product or a service for sale to the market.
Got it. Got it. Now, you said in a recent post on social media, I'm predicting that in the next 5 to 8 years, personal development and business growth gurus you follow today will nearly be extinct, and the path will shift in terms of who's on top, right?
Yeah.
So, what are you trying to say about me?
What I'm trying to say about you is that you have a prime opportunity right now to win.
Okay.
In
I thought we were starting a beef. I thought Andy and Nate were about to start a beef, and we were going to do a whole online beef thing, and it was going to be kind of a cool thing. But that's okay. If we don't do that, that's okay. So what's the prime opportunity?
The prime opportunity is literally, you can imagine that the world for the last 11 years, there's been a small group of people who's been able to stack their dominoes faster than everyone else as far as finances and living an abundant life and wealth. They've been able to stack their dominoes. Now, what happens in the last few months with this coronavirus and the quarantine is literally the entire economy just got rattled so much that everyone's dominoes came to a screeching halt and flat on the floor. So that means we all have an opportunity to stack our dominoes right now. And so in recognizing that if you go hard and you expand wide and you get known in the marketplace, you get yourself, your content out there. There's a system called mass awareness marketing. And in mass awareness marketing, if you decide to promote yourself on multiple streams and have a team of support essentially run your business for you, you will succeed. And that means just getting known on multiple platforms so that way those people who don't watch videos but read, they can read your blog and still become a customer. The people who don't read and only watch videos, they can watch your YouTube video and become a customer. And the person who is only on Instagram, they can become a customer because they like the pictures. And the person who only reads stuff on Twitter but can't read the long form, they'll become a customer of yours because they learned about you through Twitter. So I break down how to get on all those platforms. This is a prime opportunity for all of us to win if you're 100% committed and you're ready to grow and expand. The current gurus that are running a business that are well known, I mean, in 5 to 8 years, they're going to shit. They're going to complete shit. Mark my words, 2028, 2029, the people that you know that are big and mighty and bad, you're gonna say, oh, I knew him. The same way that you knew, older ODB and all these other rappers and all these other entrepreneurs from the past in the 90s. The way you knew them is gonna completely shift in the next 8, 9 years, 5 to 8 and 9 years.
And is that because you think the playing field is leveled and everybody has the same opportunity? I mean, aren't they in league right now? Aren't they ahead of us?
They're not ahead of us. They're completely not ahead of us because the challenges are equivalent. So if you're working with someone who has the person who has the most opportunity is the person who's starting at the bottom, because the person who's the biggest right now, what they're trying to do in this certain circumstance, they're trying to maintain. They're scrapping, like trying to maintain. They're trying to catch their chips, go grab their dominoes that they once had. So their energy is going on what they currently have or what they had. So they're looking down. The person who is on the uprise, they're looking up and saying, this is mine for the taking. This is mine for the taking. This is mine for the taking in the marketplace. So while the other person is looking down, that's big right now, the person who's on the right-hand side, who's going up, they're just taking it for the taking. And now they're creating systems. Here's a key determining factor, Matt. They're creating systems in an environment where the complete economy has shifted. The way that we do business between 2019 and before, those systems that those big guys that you see have will not work in 10 years, will not work in 5 years. They need to shift. And who's going to have the new technology is the people who are looking up, because they're figuring out the problems. They're figuring out and learning the problems and the new way to market to people in the new economy, when the big guys, they just did a really good job in the old economy. We are completely in a new economy. The playing field has completely leveled, and it's time for new people to take over.
Now, you mentioned dominoes a lot. So should I get physical dominoes and learn how to play right now? Is that what you're saying?
Man.
That was a metaphor. I get it now. Metaphor. Sorry, a little slow on the uptake. But
yeah, man.
You did mention mass marketing. Is that what you called it? Mass marketing?
Mass awareness. Mass awareness.
Mass awareness. So is that one of the strategies of today that's different from before?
Is that different strategies?
Is mass awareness marketing, is that what you're saying, is that's a strategy for today that is different from before?
Completely different from before. Because here's the thing. There's new technology right now, by the way, Matt. There's new technology that allows you to run your business virtually. So what people were doing before is when they were attempting to market themselves, they were limited on resources, financial resources. So number one, many of them were paying for office space. So their financial resources, their financial commitment went to their office. Number two, they were paying employees at a higher amount of income. So their financial resources were completely capped. So it took them a much longer time. In mass awareness marketing, you're utilizing the support of virtual assistants outsourced out of America. So in utilizing this system, you can actually pay people $2, $3, $4 an hour to essentially run your business, when your competition in the old economy is paying their employees $25, $30 an hour, and even their employees are kind of financially stuck at $25 per hour. What's going to happen in the new economy is what happened 150 years ago. This is the first time I'm publicly sharing this. What's going to happen in the new economy is what happened 150 years ago, where everyone was an entrepreneur. You went to the shoesmith to go get your shoes done. You went to the gunsmith to go get your gun. You went to the bank and you worked with the actual person who owned the bank. The economy is completely shifting, where we're going back to everyone being an entrepreneur in the next, but this is not in the next 10 years. This will be done in the next 35, 45 years, where everyone will have their own business and need the support of a few people to run their business. But essentially, everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. Majority of America will be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that there'll be people that aren't even just cobblers and gunsmiths. I think there'll be other businesses as well.
100%.
Outside of that. Let me ask you this. If I wanted to level up my business using your techniques, using a virtual assistant, that sort of a thing, what would be like a first role that I could outsource? Is there a role that you advocate that's a good starting point? So
the first position that you're going to want to fill is your main virtual assistant, what I call a main virtual assistant. This is going to be your personal go-to on a daily basis, every single day.
Okay.
This person is going to be...
Is that your scheduler and that sort of thing?
This person is going to be the person who's scheduling your marketing appearances. So getting you on stages, getting you on platforms, getting you on podcasts, getting you on such and such. I mean, my main virtual assistant got me on the show with you. So they're scheduling that. Then they're also setting up your appointments for you. They're maintaining your calendar, and they're seeking different opportunities for growth. So now you're focused on doing what you do best. So you're doing the speaking, you're doing the presenting, you're doing the working with your clients, you're doing if you're an insurance agent, you're doing the policies. If you're a doctor, you're doing the actual doctor work. You're doing what you do best. But your team member is the one who's running everything on the background for you. So we're going to get to a place where your output of a human being needs to be stronger and bigger than the current output that a human being does. So in the future, an entrepreneur, man, you're gonna have to do 2 times the effort to be able to maintain a certain lifestyle. The same way during the coronavirus, so many people are doing double the work and getting half the pay. The reason for that is this is a ramp up to what's to come in the future right now. This is a perfect opportunity. This is why the winners will win and the losers will lose, and the playing field has completely shifted.
So how have you shifted just since this thing all started? Have you shifted what you're doing and how you're leveling up your business?
I haven't shifted because of it. I was already ahead of the trend. I was telling people to go virtual before all this happened. I was telling people to run their businesses from their laptop before all this happened. When this happened, all that got hit was one stream of marketing. See, what speakers and brands were doing is that they were only focusing on speaking. So their business completely relied on their live events. So once the coronavirus hit, man, they got stuck. They got stuck because they couldn't have live events. In mass awareness marketing, you want to be on every stream. You want to be on the social media. You want to be in paper. You want to be in audio. You want to be omnipresent on every channel that you can think of and put a system to be able to make sure that your content is consistently on that platform. So if you want to be on Reddit, Medium.com, Kivo, Disrupt, if you want to be on Forbes, Entrepreneur, you got to get on all those platforms all at the same time consistently. That's mass awareness marketing.
Got it. So now you are a speaker, right? You put on a conference, and that's obviously been put on pause, live anyways, right, in person. So do you have an offering that you currently offer that is virtual, or how are you helping your clients right now, given the fact that you can't be in the same room with them?
At brandmarketingsummit.net, see, what I share is the knowledge of how to market your business. That can be done through audio, that can be done through visual, that can be done online, that can be done in person, that can be done through a book. I teach people how to market their business. So brandmarketingsummit.net, that's the link, brandmarketingsummit.net. At the brandmarketingsummit.net, you'll learn the system of marketing your brand through the mass awareness system, as well as you'll learn the virtual assistant system to run your business.
Got it. So people could pay to learn to go through this course, for example, and then on the outside, they would still learn the same sort of systems they might learn in the in-person event.
Correct.
For example.
They'll learn the exact same system that they will learn at the in-person event.
Got it. Very cool. So we're both motivational speakers, and a lot of people talk about how important it is to find your own voice as somebody who presents, to be the best version of yourself. But I think that you can actually distract people with the right hand gestures. So my question to you is, what's your favorite hand gesture to use when speaking, and why?
My favorite hand gesture, that's an interesting question. I've never been asked that question before in my life. My favorite hand gestures to use is when I show placement. So like earlier in this call, for the people who are, early in the call, when I talked about the person going up, I was talking about if you can see me visually on the video call, you can see to the right hand side, I talked about the person going up. To the left hand side, I talked about the person going down. And so when I'm talking about the person going down, I'm talking about this person. I put them into a visual box. And then on the right-hand side, I put them into a visual box. So I love using my hands to really showcase my story and create placement or a visual perspective through my hands.
I'm going to have to start using that one. And then I will cite you, though, every time.
You got to find me. Every time you do it, you just say --Andy Audate. It's like, hey, guys, I'm going to teach you how to become a motivational speaker, --Andy Audate. And just say that.
Yep. Andy Audate, TM. trademark. There'll be some sort
Right
of
on, baby.
I'll put the TM on my hand right here. I'll change this pinky ring, and we'll put your name on it, and then that way people will know every time I do that, they'll see it.
That's how we gotta
so
do
thank
it,
you
man.
for doing that. I'll make sure that if I license that out, that you get the credit for that.
Yeah, we gotta do a 50-50 revenue share on the royalties.
Okay, we'll work that out. We'll have once I get a virtual assistant, we'll have them connect, and then we'll work it out.
Right on, man.
I have one last question for you, and it's a big one. So now you've known me for almost 30 minutes. What's the one question that you've always wanted to ask me?
The one question that I always wanted to ask you is why the microphone? Why is the microphone that's on your face all the time?
Just so that, are you talking about this one?
The one on your face.
Oh, this one. It's so that, well, here's the thing. It doesn't work. It's not connected to anything. But I believe in what I do. So right when I decided to become a motivational speaker, I had a vision for that. And I decided that I would commit and I would double down. So I actually had this sewn onto my face. So this is actually this is attached physically. So I can't actually take it off now. So, hopefully they'll get it fixed and it'll start working functionally. But right now it's just kind of more of an aesthetic thing. So people see me and they see Nate Catanus, the motivational speaker.
My man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Thank you so much for having me on your show, brother.
Andy Audate, thank you so much. And where can people check out your program and get the knowledge that you share?
Go to brandmarketingsummit.net. That's the first place, or on all social media platforms. Andy Audate, ANDYAUDATE. ANDYAUDATE.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was super valuable, super awesome. Can't wait to check it out. And we'll see you out there in the world. All right. Take it easy,
Man,
Andy.
thank you so much.